Flames Nation, welcome to the Sea of Red football podcast. And there is no better way than we should start this episode than with a toast. I got my Kool-Aid. Grab whatever drink you got. I don't care what's in the glass because it's a celebration. We're going to raise whatever drink you got to the Liberty football team, the players, the staff, the fans, and to the New Mexico State Aggies. Because as John, my co-host, said, Mama, we made it. The Flames are ranked 25th in the college football playoff rankings. John Manson, Tuesday night, how we living?
Man, we couldn't be living any better, could we, Richie? It's a great day to be a Flame, as we always say, and no better than tonight. This Tuesday night in mid to late November, we got so much football to look forward to, so much to look back on. But as our good man, Coach Chadwell says, it's just a checkpoint.
Just a checkpoint. That has become the mantra throughout this entire season as we've gone through becoming bowl eligible, winning that first conference game, becoming bowl eligible, clinching a spot in the conference championship game, and now becoming ranked for the first time in school history. Super excited to have everyone joining us here this evening. We have an exciting show. We have Athletic Director Ian McCaw joining us in a little bit. As always, Jason Porter and Brendan Schlittler. Excited to get an update from some of the guys on the team. But John, you just came off a call with the College Football Playoff Committee in the whole press conference. I don't know what you call it in the industry, but tell us a little bit about what you heard and what we could take away from your experience with that group.
Well, that was a lot of fun to get on there and actually talk about a team that's ranked in the CFP top 25. It's no more these hypotheticals, but no, we're talking about your number 25 Liberty Flames, and of course there's a lot of questions about Florida State and the injury and how that affects things, and the Ohio State Michigan game and the top 6 and top 5 and those at the top of the rankings, but there's also questions about Liberty and questions about Tulane and how can this affect the group of 5 chase for that New Year's Six Bowl. And it was a great quote that we had from Boo Corrigan, the chair of the CFP selection committee. And I just tweeted it out and posted it on ASOR.com. So be sure to check it out there. But he basically said that, Liberty just keeps winning. All you can do is play the teams that are on your schedule, and that's all they've done. They put up a lot of points, they put up a lot of yards, and they just keep winning. And that's all you can do is take care of your business and just keep it moving forward. And it was great to hear from him and to hear that, yes, the strength of schedule does hold us back some, but not to the point where as long as we take care of business, we still need some help. We need Tulane to lose, and we'll talk about that more as we get into the show. But we can see what's ahead of us. We can see how far we need to go, and it's right there.
I was super relieved by his comment. The fact that he mentioned the yards and the points, that yes, we are winning the games that are on our schedule. But when you look at those other metrics, I'm glad that that's getting taken into account. We said, I don't know if it was on here or in a group chat, and shout out to all the Liberty group chats right now, because they have been popping for the last hour and a half. I don't know if popping's still a thing. Caleb, you're going to have to let me know if that's what the kids are saying. But we said in those group chats, we need something to happen. We need something really weird to go our way to put us in this position to be right there in that top 2 or 3 spot. And New Mexico State beating Auburn was just massive for us, and was that thing that we needed.
Shout out to old ball coach Hugh Freeze and giving us a solid, right?
Yeah, we owe you, Coach. Thanks for everything you did while you were here and all the things that you continue to do here. And I hope you go beat Bama this weekend. How great would that be? That definitely couldn't hurt.
Me as well. But it's a great win. Great checkpoint, as we say, to get to 25, and it does feel like a win for the Flames. I mean, we kind of been playing all these hypotheticals, doing all the crunching of the different numbers, strength of schedule numbers, and to see Liberty's name there, number 25, 2 spots behind Tulane, who's at number 23, is just huge. And it really feels monumental for this program. I mean, again, it's just a ranking in mid-November. The season's not over. You still got to take care of business. We go out and lay an egg Saturday. It's all for naught. But it does feel like a huge checkpoint, a huge milestone. And you think back over, where this program has come in such short order. I mean, just 6 and 7 years ago, we're out here losing to the Monmouths of the world, the Robert Morrises of the world. No disrespect to those teams, those coaches, those players. We were all there with you then, but as I tweeted and as you alluded to, Mama, we made it now, right? I mean, look at us now, right? And Chad and I talked about it a lot over the past 4 or 5 years when we were co-hosting the show here about just this is the perfect time to be a Liberty fan. Like, you couldn't ask for a better time. It's a perfect time because how many alumni, how many fans out there of other schools have ever lived through what we've lived the last 5 years? I mean, we've gone from being an FCS kind of decent program to being the FBS, having a head coach like Hugh Freeze that kind of gives us national attention, getting ranked for the first time ever, having the first ever P5 win over Baylor back in 2017, having the first ever wins over ACC opponent Syracuse, in-state ACC opponent Virginia Tech, getting ranked for the first time, having a player like Malik Willis that just turned a lot of heads on the national level as he kind of rewrote all the Liberty quarterback record books, which are 2 years later being rewritten by Mr. Caden Salter, but and then have your first ever bowl game, your first 3 ever bowl games, your first 4 ever bowl games, your first bowl wins. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And here we are, our first ever CFP ranking, and we could possibly be in our first ever New Year's Six bowl. Again, we'll have him on in a little while, Ian McCaw, and we'll talk to him more about it then. But anybody that thought joining Conference USA was a bad decision, you've been proven wrong in year 1. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's just the facts of the matter, right? I mean, if we were not in Conference USA, we wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be ranked in the CFP top 25. We wouldn't have a chance at a New Year's Six bowl, but we're here. Take care of business. Again, you got to do that, or it's all for naught, as I said. But man, what a great day. What a great milestone. Yes, it's just a checkpoint, but it's a checkpoint that should be recognized, should be admonished, should be praised, should be talked about. And we'll worry about UTEP when Saturday rolls around.
I agree wholeheartedly. I just look forward to, 20 years from now when we're like, hey, remember that time we were ranked that Tuesday night? These games, these memories, these moments are going to be what fans talk about years from now. I remember the win over Ball State in 2010 and one of the first wins over an FBS team, and that was a huge deal. Playing in a play-in game in 2013 for basketball, and just in those 10, 15 years, everything has changed. So again, mentioned earlier, shout out to everyone who's joining us tonight. And I pose you a hypothetical before we bring in our next guests. If you would rather be ranked in the college football playoff top 25 than hosting game day and losing, like, subscribe, retweet, give us a thumbs up. It'll help us out. So if you prefer college football playoffs than hosting game day, throw us a subscribe on YouTube. It helps us out a ton.
Hosting game day, losing game day, and the game wasn't even on TV. It was on some streaming channel. So It's a great day to be a Flame.
Big time. So we're going to bring in 2 of our favorite guests, Mr. Jason Porter and Mr. Brendan Schlittler.
Big B, how you doing tonight, buddy?
How we doing?
Got a little co-host tonight.
Yes, sir. Big CJ.
Hey, man, congratulations on Saturday. Seems like we're on repeat saying that, brother, but it's a good thing to be talking about for sure. So congratulations to you on just the senior day recognition. That was so cool seeing you take up about 15 yards with all your family. It was great to meet them at the tailgate. Talk us through that senior day recognition. What was going through your mind? How was that?
Yeah, senior day is always a special time, and I think, especially this year, being a senior, it's a whole different atmosphere. We know how senior day went last year, and, that was definitely something we did not want to have happen again. But I think when I think about the day, I think gratitude's the biggest word I can think of. John was listing off the list of stuff that's happened over the last 5-6 years, and I've had the honor of being here for that time. And when you get sold a vision by, Coach Gill at the time, you don't think that it's going to be what happened. And you kind of got to soak that in and think of all those moments and times you went through. And it was special for a lot of us. We have 4 guys of our original class in 2018, Noah Frith, John Graham, Tyron Dupree, and myself. And to be 4 of like 30 something at the time, I commend those guys for sticking it out in a day and age where it's so easy to leave. There's always bigger, stronger, better stuff on the other side. That it seems to be that way. And to have guys that saw what this place could be and poured their heart and soul into it, it was cool to recognize them. And then all the guys that have joined us since then have been a huge addition in building this program. So it was just a great day. And as I said, gratitude was my number one feeling.
That's awesome. And hey, it's Thanksgiving week, so it's a perfect time to show some gratitude and be thankful. And it's also the 50th year of Liberty football too. So how ironic is it that we could be having the best season in school history on this 50th anniversary? We had that great football alumni dinner a couple weeks ago, and some of the guys from the very first team were there. There was a great video put out by Liberty Flames, Liberty Football on all their social media accounts, kind of looking back to that first team, looking back to Rock Royer, the first ever head coach who died tragically in a plane crash. And it was cool to kind of just relive that, reminisce on that history a little bit. But at the same time, it's a great season this year, right? And it's great to be living in that. And Brendan, is also cool on senior day, get to see you dressed and got in there for 2 plays. Might have just been 2 kneel downs, but hey, you're still out there. You're still in the I guess it's not the box score, but you're on the listing of the participation report. So hey, we're not handing out participation trophies tonight, but hey, you got on the field. How nice was that to get out there on senior night?
Yeah, it was funny. I was joking. I said, well, PFF still gave me a 60%. So, but it was awesome to get out there. The second I hurt my knee, that was my target. Obviously didn't know when I'm going to be comfortable enough to play and be back for that. But to be out there in uniform for senior day was the target, and to support the guys. So kind of before the game, I was trying to fire him up and say, you got to get a big lead so we can take that knee. And because they've been all wanting to get snaps with me out there. So it was awesome. I think it was a full circle moment, and kind of realize what you've gone through the last couple months. And, those guys have gotten to have their time to shine, and they put in the work to allow me to do that. So, and there are certain guys I haven't been on the field with before. I haven't played with Chase Mitchell. I haven't played with, Xavier Gray and certain guys. So just to stay on the field with them and what they've done this year, it was special.
Hey, Brandon, we got a question tonight from CJ. You got time for that? You ready?
Oh, yeah.
What was the hardest team you ever played against?
Hardest team you ever played against?
Hardest team I ever played against. Gosh. I would say personally the hardest matchup I had was NC State. The starting D tackle, his name is Aleem McNeil. He's a starting nose tackle with the Detroit Lions right now, a couple years in. And I think he has a good amount of sacks. He's just a really solid player. And also their linebacker at the time, Peyton Wilson, is now on the linebacker of the year watch list. So it was a difficult matchup all game. Had some turnovers. Should have won it. Should have held in there with the field goal protection and banged her in to win it. But I would say that was the hardest game for me personally. The best team we've played since I've been here was probably, ironically, it was probably Auburn in 2018. I think we lost like 60-0. But they had a big D line, Big Cat Bryant, Marlon Davidson. I think, who was the quarterback? They had some good players. That team killed us, but my hardest matchup was probably NC State in 2020.
Mm.
Hey, Brendan, tell us a little bit about RT Rogers, our special sponsor of this segment each and every week, Live with 5-5. How can our listeners and followers learn more about RT Rogers?
Yeah, so RT Rogers, owned and operated by Greg Rogers, Liberty alum, based out of Southern West Virginia. And for main marketing areas are Southeast West Virginia and Southwest Virginia. They sell fuel, lubricants, tanks, and equipment for responsible, reliable, full-service fuel providing. Just hit them up at RT Rogers, and they will take care of you with any of those fuel needs.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Brennan. Appreciate everything you've done. Been a joy to watch you grow and mature and help this team along to a lot of victories, a lot of monumental victories, and been fun to see you your journey this season as well, and getting back out on the field on Saturday, and hopefully you get to do it again for the years up. But thanks for joining us tonight, Brennan.
I appreciate you. You guys have a good night.
Good luck, B.
So, Jason, tell me a little bit more about HOAs. What are some of the pros and cons of those, and how does that affect the selling process?
Yeah, everybody's definitely got different opinions about HOAs. They can kind of go one direction or another, but for the most part, HOAs are put in place to kind of protect the integrity of neighborhoods for sure. But I wanted to take it sort of on the buying and selling side real quick. As a seller, when you've got an HOA, you will be asked to provide those documents as part of your closing documents to the new buyer, and they will have then a chance to review those on the buy side. And they've got a period of a number of days to review those documents with the HOA, make sure that they agree with everything, make sure that there's not something egregious in there that they can't live with. My running joke is they read the HOA doc and go, "Oh, I can't have a pet alligator. I'm out." But it literally is a opportunity to step out of a contract. I've never had that happen, not the alligator portion anyway. But the HOA documents are definitely an important part, something you need to be aware of as a buyer or a seller. And again, my information is across the top. Love to be a resource to somebody if they have more questions about it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jason, for your support. And as always, go Flames, and we'll catch you next time. Yes, sir. Sounds good. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. And let's get over to that Ironclad commercial. I think we got that keyed up, Producer 3000. And it's been awesome to have them and enjoy some of that coffee and some of their sweet treats they brought by the tailgate. Be sure to stop by Friday, December 1st before the big conference championship game. Get some more Ironclad. But let's go ahead and run that ad there.
Virginia's best and most flames-friendly coffee comes from Ironclad Coffee Roasters. Ironclad roasts and serves up their beautiful beans at 2 cafes in Richmond, where you can enjoy their craft roasted specialty beans from anywhere in the country by visiting www.ironcladcoffee.com. Place your order there and it will be directly shipped to your doorstep. Whenever you find yourself in the capital of the Commonwealth, pay them a visit at one of their 2 cafes in the Richmond area. Ironclad's owners, the O'Rourke family, are proud Flames Club members and season ticket holders, and now they're pleased to sponsor the podcast from CRA. Hop over to www.ironcladcoffee.com now to get your Virginia's best specialty coffee headed your way.
Welcome back. Shout out Ironclad Coffee. If you are joining us live, you can see we are joined by some incredible people. And if you are watching later on through Spotify or whatever, we are joined now by Liberty University Athletic Director, Mr. Ian McCaw. Ian, how are we doing this Tuesday night?
Richie, great to be with you. It's a big night for the Flames.
Always is, especially tonight. I finished my first. I got a little bit of red Kool-Aid left, but we are also joined by Mr. Dennis Fields and his amazing daughter Reagan. And we'd like to give Reagan the opportunity to ask some of our super important guests the first question. So, Miss Reagan, take it away.
Hey, Mr. N, what is your favorite food for Thanksgiving, and what are you most grateful for this Thanksgiving?
Oh, wow, Reagan, good questions. Well, favorite food, I'll go pretty basic. I'll go turkey. I really enjoy turkey, so we're going to have some of that on Thursday. And I'm so thankful for, I guess, God's love and having a great family.
That's cool. So thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you tonight.
Yeah, shout out Dennis Fields and Reagan. What a great question. And it is Thanksgiving week and a lot to be thankful for sure. But Ian, first question, huge night, Tuesday night. Past couple of Tuesday nights, we've been kind of maybe next week. And maybe next week is finally now. What does this mean for Liberty football and Liberty athletics being ranked in the college football playoff top 25?
Yeah, Richard, huge milestone, obviously, for the program to break into the top 25 in the CFP. We've spent a good amount of time in the AP and the coaches polls and over the last several years, but the CFP is the toughest one to crack into. And I think that just really shows the program gaining more credibility nationally, and certainly really excited about the fact that we're sitting number 2 among the group of 5 right now. And we need to continue to do our part, but if we get a little bit of help, I think things could work out and be really special for us here as we head into to postseason.
Ian, seems like every year under your leadership, this athletic program and football program specifically kind of takes another step forward, and we've seen it again this year with the CFP ranking and also being in Conference USA, getting to host the Conference USA championship game here in 10, 12 days, whatever that may be on December 1st, that Friday night. How much does that mean to Liberty, to its program, and maybe to the Lynchburg community to being able to host a game like that? Be one of only 2 games that night, one of only, I think, 10 conference championship games that weekend.
Yeah, John, certainly it's a great honor. And, for us to be in year 1 in Conference USA, to be hosting the championship, year 1 under Coach Chadwell, really just remarkable, and certainly beyond anyone's expectations. So it's a great opportunity for our fans to be able to support our team on our home turf. And we're looking forward to putting our best foot forward, having a great crowd and a great atmosphere for this championship game.
I'm personally disappointed. I'm not going to make it to the game, but I will be rooting certainly back in New Jersey. But one of the biggest things that is always changing in college football, week to week, seems like day to day sometimes, their schedules. Any updates on some of the future schedules? I know you've talked about the plan and what our goal is when it comes to that. Is that still what we're looking to do? How is that changing with realignment, such a hot topic?
Yeah, well, it is, Richie. So and we're supposed to get our 2024 schedule from the conference fairly soon. So I don't know how soon that will be announced, but we're anxious to get that. And of course, our non-conference games this upcoming year, we have Campbell at home, East Carolina at home, at App State, at UMass. So that's 24. We do have a change on our schedule with Army, who we had a home and home series with in 25, 26, going off because they're moving to the AAC after having been an independent for many years. So we're looking for a series to replace that. We've got some irons in the fire, and hopefully, again, we'd like to get a really good regional group of 5 rivalry if we can, or possibly a Power 5 if there's one out there.
Yeah, schedules are always something fans love to talk about, and it's worked out good enough this year. We heard from Boo Corrigan, the chair of the CFP committee, and he basically said as long as you keep winning, it takes care of itself, right? I mean, you go 11-0 and let the rest fall where it may. But looking back, going into this season, one of the big storylines going into Conference USA and this first year was the October midweek games, and looking back on that, you've had a chance, a few weeks to kind of reflect and look back at how that affected the team, the schedule, the ratings on national TV, and how do you think that affected, from attendance and national perspective and just recognition of more eyeballs being drawn to Liberty and Conference USA?
Yeah, John, definitely a positive for sure. Certainly, it's great for the community. We definitely had, I think, an opportunity to engage some different fans who maybe don't come to Saturday games, but local fans that were able to find a way to get out for the midweek games. Thought that was a positive. I thought we did a great job between our campus and our staff of really adjusting to make that work on a Tuesday when you have classes and you have normal business activity during the day. I thought we really adjusted well to that. I was pleased with our crowds, and certainly, as you mentioned, we got tremendous national exposure. So again, very positive experience all the way around, and this will be something we do each year for many years.
Loved the weekday games myself. I had people that had never really watched Liberty before texting me like, Liberty's on. It's a Tuesday night. You got to enjoy that. So cool to get that national recognition. So Friday night, Championship Friday. I know I said I'm not going to be there. Make me feel bad about not going. Tell me about what you're expecting when it comes to the atmosphere and the crowd for the conference championship game.
Yeah, Rich, I think it's going to be great. If we can't get, you're the exception, but if we can't get people to come to a conference championship game to support an undefeated team playing a team that just finished beating Auburn, not just beating them, dominating Auburn, I don't really know what else we can do to get you to come out. But, again, there are going to be people who have conflicts and so forth, but we should have a really good crowd. I know our students are going to be energized. It'll be a great atmosphere. And, think about championship games. Both teams will have their bands there. It really creates a dynamic environment. So I think it should be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to a great game.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game, and the group of 5 guys will be there and doing a live show. Their live podcast will be streamed right outside of Gate 1 near our tailgate, and that'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully fans can come by pregame and take that in, and it'll be a lot of fun. So Ian, I'm going to change gears a little bit. We JMU was in the had a lot of eyes on them in Harrisonburg this past weekend with College Game Day, and they've obviously had a really good season, and they're in the Sun Belt, and got their first loss. I think they're 10-1 now, and ineligible. Obviously, that was one of the big things in the news recently, is them ineligible for their conference championship game, just like Jacksonville State in the Conference USA, and ineligible for a bowl game unless there's not enough bowl teams eligible and whatnot. But what are some of the and again, I don't know how much you pay attention to JMU and some of the other teams. I know you're so focused on Liberty and not just football, but all the sports on the mountain here. But what are some of the pros and cons maybe of what JMU and their success has done, and does that affect Liberty at all? With having another team in the Commonwealth that's really built a name and a brand for themselves, not far from here in Lynchburg.
I remember a number of years ago, John, when we were trying to make the transition to FBS. At that point in time, Oliver Luck, who was the senior vice president under Mark Emmert at the NCAA at the time, said there are really only 2 FCS programs in the country that I feel have the infrastructure to make the transition from FCS to FBS effectively, and they both happen to be in the state of Virginia. And he was speaking, of course, about Liberty and JMU, and then shortly thereafter, we were able to get the waiver to move up, and a couple of years later, JMU did the same. So, yeah, both really impressive programs and both impressive transitions. Both schools have done a great job. Not just making the transition from FCS to FBS, but doing it with success. So, you certainly have to admire what they're doing. I think they're a great rival for us. We have a series with them. I believe it's about 32-33, so it's a ways out there. With some of the other shuffling around, you never know. We might be able to put some more games together. But, that's a great series for us in football and really for all sports. If we go over there in football, we're going to sell their stadium out. If they come over here, they're going to sell our stadium out. And, that's a great rivalry and one that I think fans get really excited about.
I'm all for the JMU rivalry, so count me in for that. So when you look at college football nationally, coaches need years to get into their program. When you look at Matt Rule in Nebraska, Dion in Colorado, Billy Napier in Florida, very rarely do you see a situation like Coach Chadwell coming to Liberty. The only other situation really is Jeff Brom in Louisville. But what do you think has been the big factor that has allowed Coach Chadwell to successfully transition to being here at Liberty?
Yeah, I think several things, Richie and John. I think first of all, he came here because he had a very strong commitment to Liberty's Christian mission and to our university, and I think he really ingratiated himself to our fan base and to our community, just with his affection for the university. So that was really important. He's done just a great job of connecting with people on campus and in the community, and I think really relationally done a great job. And then the third thing, and maybe the most important thing, is he's done just an exceptional job of building the team culture. And a lot of people he's the leader, but Chad Scott, the strength coach, many other people have had a hand in doing that. We have a really uniquely strong culture in our football program, and to be able to take half the team roughly that remained and half the team that are new players, and to blend them together and get them all on the same page and all pull in the same direction. Really special job. So I can't say enough about the work that he's done and the leader he is for our football program. We're very blessed to have him.
Yeah, you said it better than I can. It's been great to see Coach Chadwell and the success he and the rest of his staff have had in just 1 year, and can't wait to see what's to come. But hey, we got to enjoy this season while we've got it, right? We still got at least 3 more games guaranteed, and Ian, there's been so much success going on the mountain. Obviously the football team's 11-0, ranked in the top 25, playing for a conference championship game, and we could go down the line, talk about all the sports. Men's basketball is undefeated, had a really good weekend in Myrtle Beach. And I guess what I'm wondering is, from your chair, Are you able to kind of enjoy that success, or are you so focused on, what's next or the next thing I got to get accomplished? Or are you able to kind of take a step back and realize how much success this athletic team, this athletic program is having currently?
Yeah, John, I do try to take a little bit of time to kind of smell the roses and express gratitude for what's going on. God has poured out amazing favor on this athletic program, but it's interesting. Fans see everything through the lens of the games and the scoreboard and how things turn out. One things that I'm really blessed to be able to see is I get to see baptisms. I get to see what the student athletes are doing academically. I get to meet a student athlete who maybe came from a different country and has just flourished at Liberty. I get to see some of the community service initiatives that our student athletes are involved in. So those things excite me as much or more than what's going on competitively. Obviously, we're having a great year, and I think we're going to continue to have great years. We'll go in the winter and the spring, but we're really blessed to have just an amazing staff, coaches, and student athletes. It's a really special place.
Now, to echo what Ian said, if you've ever been to any of our tailgates, Flames Rising tailgates in Tailgate Town, you're going to get a chance to meet student athletes, and they are the nicest people in the world. They are there. They're talking to people. They're playing with the kids. They're playing cornhole with everyone. They truly are good people. And
hey, Richie, they're not just playing cornhole; they're beating everybody in cornhole. Let's be honest here.
Waxing. I got beat 21-0. I mentioned it last week. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But obviously, football, ton of success. A lot of the fall sports have wrapped up. We're now pivoting to the winter sports season. Basketball off to a great start. What are some other winter sports we should be keeping our eye on as we get into the swing of that season?
Well, certainly, swimming's won five straight conference championships. They're a program that's going to have a lot of success. Track and field, year in, year out. Coach Bingham and his staff do an amazing job. And then as we head into the spring, I really can't point to a program that I'm not excited about or don't feel good about. I think our winter and spring sports are really a strength, and I think we're going to continue to thrive through those sports. So that's what's exciting. I really think our programs are well positioned to have success across the board, and that's what we aspire to do. We want to be excellent in everything we do, and thanks to the people we have in place, we're seeing a lot of that.
Well, Ian, I appreciate you joining us tonight on your Tuesday night to take a few minutes to chat with us. And on behalf of Sea Red and the rest of Flames Nation, we appreciate all you've done for Liberty Athletics, and it's been a lot of fun. And watching this program rise, and that's putting it mildly. I could gush about it for a long time, but it's been a lot of fun to watch. Not just you. I know you don't want to take the credit for it, and there's a lot of people that have been able to support you and the rest of this athletic department. But it's been a lot of fun just to watch this athletic program truly rise, as you guys say, rise with us, and we've been able to do that. So thanks so much, Ian, again for joining us tonight.
Hey, thank you, John. Thank you for all you're doing. As Sea of Red is just doing a great job of just being the place where people go to get information and learn about Liberty Athletics. And you guys have done a great job of telling the story, and it's an exciting story to tell right now. So it's fun to see Flames Nation grow. You guys have been a big part of that, and we really appreciate you.
Thanks so much. And with all the winning we're doing, it's pretty easy to tell the story, right? Just, keep on winning, right?
That's it.
Yes. Thank you again, Ian. Very much appreciated. But it is that time we're going to hear from one of our other sponsors, and it is one of my personal favorites. I've been doing my research. I've been doing my deep dives because I'm going to take a trip there one day. Not going to be this week, not going to be next week, but I'm going to be taking a trip to, as I said, one of my new favorite places, Leesburg, Florida. Producer 3000, play the video.
It's real Florida. It's old Florida, and it's close to all of the Central Florida attractions. Crystal clear natural springs in one of the largest chain of lakes. The beautiful lakefront city of Leesburg offers the best in outdoor adventures, fishing, and quaint shops and restaurants on historic downtown Main Street. Come visit and see how welcoming a hometown city feels. Experience Leesburg the way Florida is meant to be.
What is up, everybody? Not able to be on the show tonight, but that's not going to stop us from these locks. We've been hot. We're not as hot as Richie, but we've been staying in the positive with the locks every week. Another 3-2 week last week. So let's go week 13, last regular season week before bowl games. And the first one, Iowa, Nebraska, under 27.5. I think this is even dropping to 27, 26.5. Potentially, if it stays here, it's going to be the lowest total potentially ever in college football. And we're going to stay with Old Faithful. Just take the under. Don't even get cute with the over. Just take the under. Iowa's offense, awful. Both defenses, great. Take that under. Enjoy the money. Don't even watch the game. I mean, if you want to, you can, but don't even watch the game. Moving along, another Friday game, 3:30 ABC. Big one for the Flames to pay attention to. UTSA at Tulane. Tulane is a 3-point favorite, and I'm going to take UTSA. Not even trying to be a homer here. When I saw this line, I was thinking it was going to be around 5 or 6. This is basically saying UTSA would probably be a 1-point favorite at home, and that's pretty shocking to me. So I like this. This seems like a good spot, and Tulane's beaten a lot of teams by just small margins. So I think UTSA can win outright. Of course, we'll be rooting for that in general. But I like them. And just in case Tulane somehow sneaks one out, we get a couple points. So UTSA +3. Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan is -3.5. What I'm doing, I'm buying down to -3. You'll probably get it like -125, -130. I've said now for a while, and I think I've said it on the podcast a couple times, Michigan, they are built to beat Ohio State. They're not built to win a national championship. They're going to get destroyed by an SEC team or somebody, but they are built to beat Ohio State. And a cold game in Michigan in November, in the trenches, they have the bigger physical guys. They're going to dominate those trenches, and it's going to be tough for the passing game with Marvin Harrison Jr. and such. So add in all the extra motivation Michigan has right now as well. Give me Michigan -3. It could be a close one. So like I said, we're buying down that point to get it to a field goal. UAB at North Texas, Saturday at 2 p.m. on ESPN+. We're getting one last Trent Dilfer fade in while we can for the season. Not going to say anything about him like Richie. We're not going to get sued or anything like that. But North Texas team total over 37.5. I think this one's going to be a shootout. Both offenses have been pretty good. And UAB's defense has just been awful. I think they're going to struggle to stop North Texas at all. And really, I thought about taking North Texas on the spread, but their defense is pretty bad too. So I'd rather just go ahead and fade UAB's defense specifically. They don't want to be playing for Trent Dilfer. So North Texas team total over 37.5. And then finally, the Iron Bowl, 3:30 CBS, the classic spot. This is a classic Hugh Freeze spot if we've ever seen one. Losing to New Mexico State for 2 years in a row. Alabama just absolutely destroyed Chattanooga by like 50 or 60 points. Give me Auburn with 2 touchdowns. We took them when they played Georgia with about the same line, and I think it gets to the fourth quarter once again, and weird things happen in Jordan Hare. So Auburn with 2 touchdowns, I think they can keep it within that number, and I really like them in this bounce back spot, just kind of buying low. Then finally, we have a money line parlay. Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl on Thursday. Mizzou against Arkansas. Texas beating Texas Tech. Oregon beating Oregon State. Syracuse, they just fired Dino Babers. Give me the motivation win there. And then finally, Washington over Washington State. Put those together, you get a nice +375. So that's all for my locks. We will be back next week.
All right. Shout out CT for hooking us up with what I think are going to be some winners this week. See my shirt, John? Leesburg, Florida. I told you. I walk the walk. I talk the talk. Lead from the front. Leesburg, Florida. Biggest fan in the world. Shout out Sam Stone for the T-shirt. So,
Richie, did you just go buy that? Did you just go buy that shirt during the CT lock segment?
I wish I did. This was delivered to me. I mentioned it on the basketball podcast yesterday. I opened up a package. The package was delivered. My wife said, "You got mail." It says Richie Longshots on it. And I opened it up. Leesburg, Florida. Because people just know how big of a fan I am. And I can't wait. I'm going to be there. We're going to take pictures. It's going to be awesome. So
I'm surprised the mail carrier delivered a package to Richie Longshots.
He's got to be so confused.
That's not your real name.
No,
I was
not my
surprised
legal
by that.
name.
I thought that might have been your real name, a few years ago when I first met you, but that's not your real name. So I'm surprised he delivered it.
No, there's a few reasons I can't put my government name out there. Longshots is not my government name. But we've been talking about the playoffs and what this means for Liberty and their chances at a New Year's Six bowl. And that can't happen if we do not win out. So that is a piece of it. But what we want to do is bring on someone who is dialed into all things Group of Five. One of the Group of Five guys, they will be joining us Friday night for the, not this Friday night, following Friday night for the Conference USA Championship game. And we'd like to welcome on Mr. Matt Sprouse.
Fellas, appreciate y'all having me on, man. I was, as I came on here too, I see Richie Longshots, and I'm like, if that's not this guy's real name, it needs to be, because you should patent it, you should trademark it, and you should make some money out of that thing.
Hey, that's what we all call him. I don't even know what his real name is. He's Richie Longshots. That's all we call him.
That's beautiful.
We had a dinner the night before football season started, and everyone's like, and there were like place cards out there. Everyone's like, that's your last name? No, didn't see that one coming, but a lot worse things to be on. So Matt joins us. He is one of the Group of Five guys. You see them all over Twitter. They have an incredible podcast that breaks down what's going on in the Group of Five. I love a good college football podcast, but you throw on Josh Pate or Unnecessary Roughness, they're talking about Power Five. They're talking about Michigan. They're talking about Oregon, Washington, and Florida State. These guys break down Group of Five. And now that we are ranked, and now that there's a path to the New Year's Six bowl to represent the Group of Five. Matt, talk about what that looks like. What's going to have to happen for Liberty to get that spot?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and you mentioned it too, obviously you got to win out. I think you got to probably root for New Mexico State to beat Jacksonville State this week. You got a huge lift with New Mexico State beating up on Auburn this past weekend. So now where, I think most people, including myself, thought, New Mexico State, it's not a very big brand name. It's going to be an 8-4 team probably, but now you're probably looking at a 10-win team coming in there. So that helps. And then you probably need to root for Tulane to lose. And you probably, I don't think this is right, but I think you probably need to hope for a UTSA American champion, because I think if you get SMU, they'll have what the committee will think, better wins, essentially, because everybody loves to hate on the Conference USA schedule, and which I think is ridiculous. But I think UTSA, being that they played pretty poorly earlier in the season, their overall record is not fantastic. I think that's probably what you got to root for in the American. And then, in the Mountain West, I think you're going to be ahead of everyone other than maybe UNLV. You probably want to root against UNLV too. If you look at a Boise State, their overall record is not very good. If you look at an Air Force, 3 weeks ago, I would have been telling you Air Force is a playoff team, but they have just collapsed big time, and their losses are just bad. So even if they find their way to win the Mountain West, I don't think you got to worry about an Air Force. And then San Jose State, they're red hot right now, but they don't have the big brand. And we know on our show, we talk about it all the time, or I talk about it all the time. There's a book that I've read like 3 times called Brands Win Championships. It's a great read, and it is proven to us every week when we watch this college football committee get on there and talk about schedules and strength of schedules and wins and losses. So I think in that regard, I think the big brands in the Mountain West are going to have too many overall losses. So I say all that to tell you, win out, hope Tulane loses, and hope SMU doesn't win the American. And I think you're there. Toledo now is a sneaky one. They are a field goal away from being undefeated right now. And the MAC gets the same hate the Conference USA gets, but they'll have if they win the MAC, they'll have 2 wins over a Miami of Ohio team that is very good. So, but they're not going to get the love.
Yeah, Matt, I agree with what you're saying there. It seems like, it's Liberty or the American champion more than likely.
Yep.
What do you think? What's your opinion on with Liberty, getting in there at number 25 tonight, being that second G5 team behind Tulane? What do you think is the likelihood of an SMU? Let's say that UTSA takes out Tulane and SMU wins the American. What do you think is the likelihood of an SMU overtaking Liberty as the G5 representative if they were to win the American?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately I kind of do think it's likely, just because they'll look at Liberty beating a New Mexico State team versus SMU beating a UTSA, and I'll tell you. Worst case scenario for Liberty in that regard is if SMU beats a Tulane in the American, because then I think you probably will get past. If it's UTSA, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to hear the debate. But I think you'd be okay in that regard. But I do think SMU, assuming they beat Navy this weekend, they'll be hosting the winner of Tulane UTSA. I think if it's Tulane, that'll be, SMU may sneak up to 25 next week. You guys might be at 24, and then Tulane might be at 20. And if SMU beats a 20, they'll pass you.
Control what you can control.
That's right.
That's how I'm looking at it for a first year. Definitely nice to be in that mix. But talked about that UTSA Tulane game. That's a big one.
Yep.
It's a massive one. Tell us a little bit about those two teams. For anyone watching might not, they're suddenly like, ooh, I got to now start watching other conferences and what's going on out there. Tell us about those two teams and what we can expect to see that game. I think it's Friday, right?
Yeah, that's the Friday game.
Yep.
And then so they'll be scoreboard watching the next day. But they both were the favorites in the American coming in. Obviously, Tulane with what they did last year, unbelievable season, beat USC, beat the Heisman winner in the bowl game. This year, they come out with a ton of expectations, and we saw them live week 1. And I will tell you this, they pass every eye test. I mean, they come out of the tunnel, their offensive line, their defensive line, their linebackers, they look the part for sure. And they came out the gate red hot. I mean, they had Ole Miss to the wire with their backup quarterback. Their starting quarterback, Michael Pratt, big time. NFL guy for sure, and he's a gamer. It's not necessarily anything that he does. He's like that. I hate to compare him, but he's like a Brett Favre. You know what I mean? He's just like making plays. However, they've struggled quite a bit late. They've kept winning, but they haven't looked fantastic. They had 1-score wins over East Carolina, 1-score win over Tulsa. So they haven't looked great as of late. Now UTSA has been the other way. They were the favorite. They came out pretty slow, lost to Houston, lost to Army, and now they are clicking. And it's funny because Tulane right now has a bunch of injuries. I think 2 of their top receivers are questionable or even out this week. And then UTSA was like that earlier in the year. Their quarterback, Frank Harris, missed a few games. So he missed 2 of those early losses that they had. So they both kind of flip-flopped. Tulane started out hot and kind of has slowed down, but they've kept winning. So that's, everybody always says that's a sign of a really good team. They don't play great, but they win. And then UTSA is the other way. We had our show earlier today, and my worry for UTSA is these Texas A&M rumors. Jeff Traylor, he hadn't denied it. I've seen the press conferences. These are stereotype answers for I'm out of here.
We've been there.
So yeah, exactly.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
You guys know it exactly. So that worries me a little bit. Now for UTSA though, Frank Harris is in like his 7th year of college football, so he's their leader. They're solid. But who knows? Just the way they're playing, UTSA is playing a lot better football right now than Tulane is.
Yeah, that's definitely a much-watched game for Liberty fans now. So go ahead and clear your schedules. Friday afternoon, take your wife out to some Black Friday shopping if she's into that sort of thing. Take her out to a nice brunch or whatever you want to do. Then get them back home, let her take her nap, and tune into that game. And we're all Roadrunner fans on Friday. So,
That's right.
but Matt, before we let you go, I want to ask you about. Let's get back to Conference USA. Liberty's got 2 games locked in. Got UTEP coming up. Obviously, Liberty's a big favorite there, 17 points, but having to go on the road. 2 different time zones away from Lynchburg. Take us through some of that, and then after you talk about UTEP a little bit, we'll get into New Mexico State a little bit. But what do you think about this game for Liberty against UTEP?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that could kind of slow down Liberty right now is if they're thinking about, we got to win and we got to win big, or they start thinking about anything like that. I think they'll be just fine. I mean, you do worry. Not that it's a ton different, but the schedules are a little bit different on Thanksgiving week. I don't know what Liberty does. I don't know what Chadwell lets them do if he lets guys go home, if they have everybody in the building. So you think about that a little bit, but Liberty's playing so good, and Chadwell has got them, you don't want to look ahead, but they know they are so close to getting to go to, the Fiesta Bowl and play an Oregon and Alabama, somebody like that. So I think they'll be locked in, and UTEP, they're one of the most disappointing teams in the conference. I mean, I thought they would be in the mix. I thought it would be, Western, Liberty, Middle, and then kind of UTEP, and that went out the window real quick. So I think Liberty's just fine. Going to UTEP. I think they'll win. I do think that they will cover, I think, a 17-point line. But they need to not think about that. They need to just win.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Focus about what's in front of you. And they've done a good job of that, through 11 games this season so far. And really the last couple of weeks have done a really good job of locking in. But let's look at New Mexico State briefly, about a week out. Game you'll be in town for. Looking forward to that. But, what is New Mexico State? Obviously, they turned a lot of heads this week with their win over Auburn. Not just a win, but they dominated Auburn. 31-10, I think, was the final. I watched some of the second half of that. But what have they done to kind of right the ship? I mean, obviously, they played Liberty in week 2, so that was such a long time ago. And they had losses early in the season, Hawaii, UMass. And it's obviously not the same team that we saw back in September. From what you've seen of New Mexico State the past few weeks, what have they done to kind of turn things around and get this thing rolling?
To me, it's the quarterback, Diego Pavia. He's a name that we've talked about on our show a little bit, that he's what's going to make them go. And last year he was pretty inconsistent. I think he started this year a little bit the same way. And I think he's just, for whatever reason, he settled in. And I mean, I'll tell you what's the most impressive thing about him is I think he threw a pick and he absolutely dropped the Auburn DB. I mean, to me, that was like, I got on our show before that game and I was like, honestly, if I'm New Mexico State, I might play my guys in the first quarter, first half. Big mistake that would have been. But they just came to play. And I think, man, they got something to prove too. I mean, they're looking at a 10-11 win season if they can, upset you guys in Lynchburg. And so that's not something you see out of any team in New Mexico very often. So they're just playing good ball. The quarterback's playing good. They're not turning it over. They're playing smart. I mean, and when you're, most of these teams are not as bad or good as everybody likes to think they are. I think most of the teams are pretty even. But when you just, turnovers, dumb penalties, and a bounce here or there, and you could go from being, 4-8 to 8-4, 9-3.
Yeah, that look ahead line for that game's like 13.5, 14 points. Way too many points. I saw that and I went, nope, don't like that. Do not care what Vegas has to say. So you're going to be in town for that game, you and the rest of the group of 5 guys. Talk about that trip. What are you looking forward to? What have you seen from Liberty fans so far on this the weeknight games this year?
Well, that's the big knock on Conference USA, right? That month where they were playing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I mean, listen, I know it firsthand. I'm a Middle Tennessee alum, and it's embarrassing. It really is. And then when you watch Middle Tennessee on a Wednesday, and then you turn it on Thursday and you watch an App State and it's sold out 30,000, and you're like, man, the Sun Belt's got this thing figured out. But then Liberty shows up, and it's like, man, this is like just what you've seen on TV. There's very few schools at the Group of 5 level where if you're watching a game on TV and there's a big play, a big defensive play or a touchdown or whatever, where you actually hear that pop, the WWE entrance pop from the crowd. If you hear it on TV, that's when you know it's an electric environment. And that's what we've seen out of Liberty. And then, I mean, you guys on Twitter are, first of all, you got to have it because you guys are battling the entire Sun Belt and the American Conference every week, every time. I mean, God forbid we put you guys in our poll at number 3 or number 2, and now you're at number 1 in our poll, which has really upset the masses. But you guys are you're a passionate fan base, and it's like for such a relatively young program, and like I got so much to talk about. I want to try to save it for our deal when we're up there on Friday about what I think is the future of Liberty and a fan base that I think is going to be a national fan base similar to a BYU or even, not quite yet like a Notre Dame, but, for a number of reasons. But it's a passionate fan base. I mean, the minute we said we were coming, and look, we like to think like we're the biggest Group of 5 show, but we're nobody, man. You guys don't have to do anything for us. You guys could say, forget you, buy tickets if they're available, and sit with the students and good luck. But everybody on Twitter, I mean, has just been so, come to this tailgate, come to that tailgate, come see us. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to be able to do all of it. So I'll apologize now. But so we're getting up there Thursday. That's the game plan. We're having like a meetup, and this is not for us. This is really, we want to get the New Mexico State fans that travel, some Liberty fans that are local, just meet up, talk ball. You don't get this often. You don't get, where you can have two teams like this to just kind of hang out. And you see where, even though you're in the same conference, you're technically rivals. You got that same mission, because if New Mexico State was 11-0, they'd be fighting for the New Year's too. And so that's why we're here to fight for y'all to make it to the New Year's. And then, so we're going to meet at the Clubhouse Bar and Grill in Lynchburg. We're giving away a couple gift cards to the Clubhouse. So got to be in attendance to do that. We just want to eat, hang out, play some pool. And then Friday, we're going to be doing a live pregame show from the Sea of Red tailgate area. Just can't wait for that, man. I mean, we should have a pretty good setup. We're going to have speakers out there. It'll look like a college game day. But nobody promised none of us are going to take our shirt off or nothing like that, like a McAfee does. But and then we're gonna go to the game, man. Enjoy the game as fans. Be I don't know where sometimes I like sitting with the students. It's the best environment, But
well, we got some fans. Our student group, you might have seen them some on social media, the Jokers, and I know they'll welcome you over there if you want to get mixed up into that group, the young crew. But it'll be fun. But hey, Matt, we appreciate you so much joining us. Look forward to listening to you next week as you guys are in town, and everybody listening, make sure you stop by the tailgate just outside of Gate 1. That's where Matt and his Group of 5 guys will be doing their show live, recording it live right outside of Williams Stadium. That'll be a lot of fun, just building to the pregame atmosphere. Really looking forward to it. But hey, Matt, tell those of our listeners, where they can find you and the Group of 5 guys, and maybe a little bit about who you guys are and where to connect with you.
Yeah, 100%. So we're on all the social platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's just at Group of 5 guys. And you can find me on there if you want to. I'm at Sprouse_68. And then our show, we do a live show every Tuesday night. We just got done with that before I hopped on over here. And then we do a live show every Saturday. Well, typically Saturday morning. Next week, we'll be doing it Friday from your place. And they stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X, I should say. But yeah, you can go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It's just Group of 5 guys. But yeah, man. I mean, we started this thing over the frustration of lack of support But a lot of that lack of support, I think, comes from the lack of media attention. And I think when you have schools that get talked down on by your mainstream people all the time, it causes the community and the fans to think a certain way about those programs. The state of Virginia has it figured out, though. I mean, between Liberty, James Madison, and Old Dominion, and then Virginia and Virginia Tech, I think the group of five has the better programs. Virginia Tech's got they got great fans in Blacksburg. Well, maybe the best fans in the country in Blacksburg. But Virginia's got it figured out because everybody supports the school that they go to and the community they live in. But if you haven't been anywhere else, you know it's not like that. So that's why we're here, trying to hype it up, trying to bring that energy and that pride to these schools, man.
Well, thank you for all that you do to hype up the group of five and those schools that are looking for a little bit. So check them out. Stop by the Tailgate Friday. I'm going to be mixing it up live in the YouTube comments during the live show, and looking forward to it. And thank you again for joining us this Tuesday night.
Awesome, man. Can't wait to see y'all next week. Thank you so much.
Oh, what a great interview. I love just getting to talk about some of the other stuff that's going on in college football, because it truly is such a unique sport, and there's so much going on, and it can be like a soap opera sometimes. I love that he mentioned that he knows about Liberty fans on Twitter. There's some bulldogs out there. There's some crazy people. I saw Sickos posted like miles from stadium from an Olive Garden, and Liberty fans were like, nope, we're 1.4 miles, update your list. Like, guys, it's a list.
Don't disrespect Liberty on a list on Twitter
about Olive Garden. Like big game boomer, they're in the comments like, how dare you, said that Liberty fans' favorite Thanksgiving side was like lobster ravioli or something. I went, this big game boomer stuff's got to stop. But what a great group of fans, and we are so thankful. And I don't want to speak for John, but I know we are so thankful for all the Liberty fans out there that support us, that tweet us, that check this out live, that check this out later on, that come to the tailgates, that are just involved. I'm thankful for this opportunity this year to be on here with you, John, and producer 3000 backstage, and CT and Zeke that are joining us this evening. But it's been just so amazing.
Richie, even if it was just us sitting around talking, we would still do it and still have a good time. And that's kind of how this whole thing started way back in the day. But it's even so much more fun to have people listening to us and kind of like he was just saying for the group of five guys. I mean, who are we? We're nobody. We're just Liberty fans. We love the Flames. We support the Flames. We live and die with. I mean, that's all I think about for the most part. And by this time of the year, my wife is starting to get upset with me and saying all we're doing is watching football games and basketball games. And anyways, I'm fighting that battle, but it's so much fun. And man, it's been a fun night, Richie. It's been a fun weekend. I don't even know what else to say. What else can we say? It's been a great week.
It really is the golden era, and who knows what is going to happen in the next month. If things go well, we're going to be sitting here Tuesday, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, talking about a bowl game. No idea what that bowl game is going to be.
Could it be a Peach Bowl against an Alabama? Could you imagine? Richie? Peach Bowl, Liberty in the Peach Bowl against Alabama. And there's like 3 or 4 things we need to happen. 2 of those things being Liberty taking care of business.
Yeah.
And if that happens, it's a reality.
Yeah, I told myself it wouldn't let me get like super excited about it, but now I went from looking at, all right, what are the bowl games in Charlotte and Florida, New Orleans, and I'm like, ooh, what's a flight to Atlanta look like on December 30th? What are my options? And again, not putting anything ahead of the time, the cart in front of the horse, whatever the old saying is, but it's a reality. It is something that is on the table. We are getting close to that table, and we're not at the kids' table anymore. We are at the table with the big dogs, and that's it. It's crazy to say that this is happening in our first year, and there are a lot of people that worked hard, not just this year, but in the years past, that set this up to happen right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier talking to Brendan, and 50 years of Liberty football. That's what we're celebrating this year. And there's been so many guys. I've met a lot of the former Liberty football players, from even before my time as a student, and got to know them over the past, couple of years doing a Sea of Red in this podcast and the tailgate, and that's where we've met a lot of people, and it's so much fun just to hear their stories from when they were playing and what they had to go through, and even listening to Brendan. I mean, you look at Brendan, he's a guy that, has been here for 6 years. Like, you go back 6-7 years ago when he was being recruited to come to Liberty, Coach Gill, who was his coach recruiting him out of high school, was selling him on, one day we will be FBS. We think it'll be while you're here. We don't know that yet. We think it will be. Come and join us. This is the vision that we have. And he's gotten to see it play out in front of his eyes, just like we have these past 5 or 6 years. And what an amazing story he'll have to tell. What an amazing story we'll all have to tell. My kids, they're growing up Liberty fans, and it's fun to see. They lose sleep over the games. They stay up late at night and watch the games, and that's a lot of fun. We didn't see that. We're such a young school. Like, I didn't grow up a Liberty fan. You didn't grow up a Liberty fan. Chad didn't grow up a Liberty fan. None of us did.
I didn't even watch college football growing up. Like, I didn't start paying attention to college football.
That's because you're from New Jersey.
So yeah, exactly.
So you're an oddball. You're an oddball.
Yeah, Ray Rice, I'm in. So no, yeah, it's completely new.
Yeah, no. So, it's been fun to see the growth of the program and how far we've come in such a short amount of time. But man, we say we're in the golden era of Liberty athletics, but let's have this golden era last a little bit longer. I mean, we've been saying it for about 5 years, but there's no end in sight. Like, I mean, we got everything we need. We got the resources we need. We got the fan base we need. We've got the facilities. We've got the coaching staff. We're in the conference that we need to give us the opportunity to have a path to a New Year's Six this year. Next year, we're talking about a CFP. So, man, it's a great time to be a Flame, and I've had a little bit too much Kool-Aid tonight, so I don't know. I should stop talking.
And last thing before we close out, even if we've talked New Year's Six a lot, if Tulane runs the table and they get the spot over us, it doesn't take away anything from how awesome this season was. That doesn't take away the moments that we had, the pass breakup against Sam Houston State, those plays that Caden has made, and so many players coming on. But this has been such an awesome year, and I think it exceeded everyone's expectations from September. And from August and July, when we were all talking about what the season was going to look like. So I do want to preface that, yes, obviously it is cool to be there. It is cool to be ranked. It's cool to be at the adult table. But at the end of the day, we can control. Kyle just said it's a checkpoint. And yes, this is a checkpoint for this season, but this is also a checkpoint for Liberty moving forward year to year, because the fact that we're ranked right now, it's going to be a little bit easier to get ranked again and again.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that before, and it's even more so. I mean, we broke through that ceiling of having never been ranked to now we've been in the CFP top 25. That group, when they meet in that room, they know who Liberty is. Like before today, it was kind of like, do they even know we exist? Like, are they even like paying attention to us? For all I knew going into tonight, they were going to rank a Toledo at number 25 over us. We didn't know what to expect, but now we've broken through that barrier. And like we said earlier in the year, and multiple times, is this year is really, if we make a New Year's Six, which we're so close to it, if we make a New Year's Six, it's wonderful. If we don't, it's okay too. We still had a great year, and we'll have a lot of stories to tell. And the podcast where we recap this season, whether it's in the New Orleans Bowl against a Troy, or it's in the Peach Bowl against an Alabama, it's going to be a great show. But this year is really just setting us up for next year, because if we get to a 13-1 Conference USA champion or a 14-0 team this year, and we bring most of our roster back going into next year, then it's going to be such. I mean, that just sets you up. That sets you up, because you could be talking about a preseason top 25 team, and again, you have to do it again. I mean, you're going to have to run the table again, or be very close to running the table to get back to this point again next year. But you set yourself up. And I know everybody says it's just year to year and all that sort of stuff, but that's really not true. Like he was saying just a minute ago, it's programs. What was his saying he had? It was brands win championships. And that's exactly right. That's why Tulane's ahead of us right now, is because they have a bigger brand than Liberty as of today, based on what they've done in the past, based on what they did last year. They went to, what bowl were they in? The Cotton Bowl, and they beat a USC. So that's why they have that notoriety, and it's well deserved. They deserve that. But we're just starting out, and we're just getting there, and this is just laying the foundation. And again, I hope we're in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. I hope we're in the Fiesta Bowl, whatever the case may be, against an Oregon, an Alabama, whoever. But even if we're not, we've taken huge strides this season.
Yeah, I'm going to do one final cheers to Liberty football players, coaches, fans. Thank you to those who joined us live tonight, who are checking us out later on. Make sure you like, subscribe, whether on your YouTube, Spotify. I can't keep track of all the media platforms that the kids are listening to these days. But on behalf of myself and John Manson, thank you for joining us. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay fly. We'll see you next Tuesday.